Hello, and welcome to the Superintendent Effect, the podcast where we highlight strong leaders building strong communities. I'm Ann Brown, your host, president, and CEO of the Cook Center for Human Connection, and I'm so excited today to be joined by Dr. Randy Russell, who is the superintendent of Freeman School District in Washington State. Thanks, Randy, for joining us today.
You bet. Thank you, Ann. It's a pleasure. It's great to see you and looking forward to our conversation today.
Me too. I want to learn all about Freeman. Why don't you start and just tell us about the district a little?
Yeah, we're really honored to be here in Freeman. We're about 15 minutes south of Spokane, 850 students, starting with 3-year-olds and all the way up through our 21-year-olds that we have. And we're a smaller rural school district that's like a bedroom community to Spokane, which is about 500,000 people. So Eastern Washington, and a long tradition here in Freeman. We serve 5 small communities, and Freeman is right in the center and is really kind of the epicenter, so to speak, of each of those communities, and is also centrally located enough where a Friday night football game or a band concert or your third grade music festival is attended by many, many people and used quite a bit for our campus. So 52-acre campus, self-contained, have our own water, our own garbage, our own sewer. We're kind of our own little world here.
Wow. So are all your schools contained on that 52-acre campus?
They are, yeah. So you literally start here as a 3-year-old. You're in the preschool program, and then you go into what's called TK, transitional kindergarten. And then kindergarten through 5th grade is in one building. 6th, 7th, and 8th is in the middle school. And then the 9th through 12th graders are in Freeman High School. So Freeman Elementary, Freeman Middle School, Freeman High School, all on one campus.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Um, so that must make for a very strong PTO or PTA, however you say it, because those parents just start and go all the way up, huh?
They really do. Yeah, our parents are very involved. They start very young when their kids first start school here. We have a lot of alumni who graduate from Freeman. They leave, go to school, start their careers, maybe start their families, and then they move back. So a lot of generational families that have come through here. I'm talking like 6, 7, 8 generations, right, of family members. And so you'll see a lot of alumni with their kids here and then their parents who are also alumni. And about 25% of our staff graduated from Freeman as well.
That is cool. That's something I
Yeah,
haven't heard that other places where that many stay in one place. I bet, like you said, Friday night football is a barrel of fun.
it is.
It's a class reunion every week.
It really is, yeah. And they all know each other and get along great. And, since you've got that history right here in the community, it's really fun to see that, especially when you see like, maybe they're an 8th grader, right? And they, go through high school, they graduate, they leave, they come back, they're married, they've got some young kids, and all of a sudden they start in TTK and you get to see them as a parent. And it's a lot of fun for us as the staff.
That's fun. So, and you've been there quite a while as the superintendent. Were you there before you were superintendent as well?
No, I was a high school principal and in Coeur d'Alene, which is just south of Spokane, about 20 minutes. So I had a big high school, 1,600 kids in our high school, grades 9 through 12th grade, and then came here to a 850 student school district.
Wow. Wow.
Yes. So this is my 15th and final year. I am retiring on June 30th after 15 years here and 38 years of public service.
Wow. Well, congratulations, but I'm sad for your community. I'm sure you've got a wonderful person replacing you, but
Do.
that kind of history just really makes a difference to kids and your district and all of the work of a superintendent. So congratulations, but oh,
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Super excited about Lisa. Lisa's been here for 30 years, started as a teacher and as a coach, and then became our elementary principal. And then the last 4 years, she's served as both the elementary principal and as the assistant soup. And so it's a very smooth transition. She's hit the ground running. Our community is super excited about her. I'm super excited about her. I mean, she's going to take things to the next level. She loves Freeman, like I do. And families trust her and the staff knows her. And so it just could not have been a better decision by our school board.
Wow. Well, then I don't feel so bad for it. Sounds
Thank
like you
you.
have a perfect succession plan.
We would do,
Well,
yeah, we're in good shape.
so tell me about the superintendency and what's just in general what it's like to be superintendent.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, it's a lot more difficult now than it was even 5 years ago. It's a lot more complex leadership position. It's gotten much more political. Certainly the last, 4 or 5 years, your connections and interactions with your local, your state, federal, authorities and requirements has made it really very difficult for a superintendent because I feel more handcuffed as a superintendent than I have in the past. I still love it. I love the kids. I'm going out at the top of my game, Ann, which I think is really important. But I've also been more frustrated, being a superintendent the last couple of years because you have a constant push-pull between the state and the federal government, and school districts and communities land right in between, that tug of war, so to speak. And so that's gotten hard. What hasn't changed is kids are kids. You love the kids. They're great. They're here because they want to learn, right? They want to be in a fun place. They want to be in a safe place. We've been really fortunate with an incredible staff. You only really leave Freeman for two reasons. One is you retire, or the second one is you've received a promotion. You've gone from being like a teacher to an assistant principal, or a principal to a secretary, or maybe you were the assistant, technology director, and now you're a technology director in another district.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason people really leave here. Most of our folks stay between 30 and 40 years in Freeman. And our leadership team that's been together, 8 of us have been together for 15 years.
Well, and I'll tell you what people don't understand about education is that importance of longevity. I know that you guys have an exceptional high school graduation rate. I'm reading here on my sheet, it's 95%. Does that sound pretty familiar?
Yes, it does.
In states where their hope is that 50% of kids are reading proficient, you're graduating 95% of your kids. I mean,
Yeah.
it's that kind of personal attention that you can give to kids and that kind of longevity where you can know the families and
Yeah.
help them and support them and help their kids reach their greatest potential. I mean, there's nothing that says more for a community than that.
Right. Yeah, it does make a big difference, I think, for us, and that we have been together. So Lisa, our elementary principal, who's going to be the next superintendent, Jim, our middle school principal, Chad, our AD, Everett, our transportation director, Todd, our tech director, Kirk, our maintenance and grounds director, Debbie, who'd worked in the district office for a number of years, Mike, who's going to be our new elementary principal. We've been all together this whole time. And we've lost some great leaders too who have gotten one of those promotions
Yeah.
I was talking about earlier. And that longevity, because we can kind of finish each other's sentences. We can push where we need to push. We know where we need to kind of, come to the middle ground, on things. And what I love is I can truly say this about all 150 employees in Freeman. Everybody's here for the right reason.
Yeah.
They love kids and they want to serve kids. And we've been able to keep what I call the adult drama to a minimum. You're always going to have some, outside noise or some internal strife or whatever in any size organization. But people here in Freeman have kept the main thing, which is let's do what we know is best for kids, and let's make our decisions based on what's best for kids. And let's not let the adult drama or agendas get in the way of that. And that I think is very unique.
Yeah. And again, I speak to a few superintendents a week, so I would agree with you that it's unique, and I do think it comes with longevity. And as since you're an outgoing person, I'll just say this: boards have become difficult, and I'm not referring to yours. Yours is obviously amazing, but so many people are running for school board not because of what they want for kids, but maybe what they want for their one kid or what they don't want for someone. I mean, they're not running for the reasons that 5 or 10 years ago people were running, which was to, have a great impact on their own community. It feels much more self-serving nationwide, and we know that in general superintendents stay in their role for about 2 to 2.5 years. So,
Right.
you don't get a 95% graduation rate when you're having that kind of churn at the leadership level.
Exactly. Yeah, and we've been really fortunate with our school board. So all 5 of the board members have had their kids come through Freeman, and right now one of them has their grandkids coming through.
Wow.
3 of them are Freeman alumni, so grew up here, graduated from Freeman. Not a one of them has an agenda,
Oh,
like truly, and that is hard to find,
yeah.
and that has allowed me as a superintendent to work with our team without them getting into the weeds or trying to micromanage, the district. And a big reason why I've been able to stay for 15 years is because of this amazingly supportive school board and this just incredibly talented leadership team that
Yeah.
we've had, right? Because they know how to hire and they know how to train and coach and mentor and support awesome staff. And, I think about like our transportation department. I would put our transportation department up against anybody's transportation department in the United States. The average tenure for a driver in the Freeman School District is almost 10 years
Wow.
as a bus driver. And, you think about like our nutrition services department, they've been together for over a decade in their roles. And you look at our secretaries, a brand new group. Like literally, we've hired almost brand new or brand new secretaries in each building, and they work so collaboratively. They communicate well. They represent the school district, and every single one of them, with the exception of one, has their kids that go to school here.
Wow. That's amazing. And that kind of camaraderie and that kind of trust that you've built also helps you weather difficult storms, right? I
Yes.
know in 2017, you guys had some difficulty. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that and how you got through it?
Yeah, yeah, we've had some tough ones here, and more than would be typical, right, for a certain 15-year kind of time frame. Unfortunately, we had a school shooting here. We lost one of our high school students. 3 of our high school kids were very seriously injured. It was a horrific situation. Could have been much, much worse. One of our own students came in with multiple weapons onto the second floor of the high school and opened fire. Luckily, the assault rifle got jammed because that had 35 rounds in it.
Wow.
And so we've been through that. We've been through COVID, which had its own difficulties and challenges for us. We've been through a community fire where people on staff and our families lost everything, like lost their homes, lost their animals, lost, their entire belongings. So we've been through some tough ones here, and boy, I'll tell you, the folks in Freeman, they are very resilient, and the kids have been an inspiration and to the adults, because as you know, and you have a lot of experience and talking to a lot of different people, um, sometimes we don't always give kids credit for what they should really truly receive in terms of credit. Our kids have been models for the adults. They have reminded all of us how to work through these difficulties and these challenges. And a big part of my own inspiration comes from the kids that are here in Freeman and watching them, including 2 of my own children who have been here for several of those difficulties I just mentioned, and watching them respond, right? And how they've handled it. And it's just a good reminder for the adults that we can learn a lot from the kids if we're paying close enough attention.
Yeah, and kids today are amazing. I mean,
They are.
I what they can do and what they know and their bravery to go into this unknown future that we all have, and I don't mean it's a negative future, it's just it's just the technology and the opportunity, and where do you go from those opportunities, or how do you find them, and just bravely go into it. And I know one of those things probably starts with some of the experiences they have in high schools, but
Mhm.
I've had a couple of interviewees lately talk about their career pathways, and they're so unique for each region. So I don't know if you want to share about that at all.
Oh yeah. Well, you get these different experiences, whether you're a teacher or a coach, maybe you're an admin, or even, as a school superintendent. And we're at the end of our school year. So tomorrow's our last day of this school year. And all of the energy and the excitement right now that is taking place on our campus is around our fitness fun day. So this is our elementary fitness fun day. Our eighth graders are on their last trip of the year. They're on a picnic and field trip for the day, and it's all about celebrating kids. And I think as long as you remember why we're here, why we're doing this, and lean into this excitement, these celebrations, because learning is supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
And, we've gotten so focused on some very specific things in K-12 that a lot of folks have forgot this is supposed to be a fun experience. And it's supposed to be a fun experience and for the adults as well,
Yeah.
right? And so let's not lose track of that. And I think with that focus, that's what helps us get re-energized, because there are tough things to deal with. Not all of this is fun, not all of it is, exciting, great times. And so how do you work through those? Well, one of my great mentors always tells me, Ray, what's in the way is the way. Like
Okay.
whatever the challenge is, whatever the difficulty that's in front of you, that you can't hand that off. You can't try to go around it. That's what's there, and you got to work your way through it, and just stay focused on the kids, and there will become a path to find a solution.
Yeah. That's great advice. Who is that mentor? Who are you thinking of there?
That is Dr. Jean Sherritt, one of my dear friends, Ann. And, you know, as you and I both know, mentors play such a huge role, right, in the development of great leaders. And if you're a lifelong learner like you and I are, we're still learning. We still want to improve. We still want to keep growing. And having these important mentors, it's critical, right, for the growth and development of all of us.
Every day. As soon as you say the word mentor to me, I go straight to Mort Sherman and Dan Domenech.
Yes.
That's had such a huge impact on my life. And I know that you've been part of the AASA Governing Board Executive Committee for years. And tell us about that and why that's important to be at that kind of leadership level in the country.
Yeah, well, as you mentioned with both Mort and Dan, two fantastic gentlemen, two great leaders, two very collaborative individuals. I really appreciated Dan as our executive director, and he was one of the main reasons why I wanted to go from the governing board onto the executive committee, because that was an opportunity to give back and to kind of also help with the direction of where AASA was going, what that national voice looked like, that impact with federal legislators. And then also, as Dan was getting ready to announce his retirement, being on the executive committee for the selection of David Schuler as our next executive director. So being a part of that, and also being a part of selecting our state leader in Washington, I learned so much from my colleagues, right, during that process. And it's actually helped us with our hiring back
Yeah.
here in Freeman, because we changed some of our hiring practices after being involved in those two hiring practices. And you want to be with the best, because that's where you get to learn. And so being around all these incredible colleagues that you and I just respect so much and look up to and learn from them, ultimately you get to take that back to your school district and then use that as an opportunity to help your team and the kids and the families and the staff that you're serving back home.
Yeah, Dave Schuler wasn't is just an excellent choice.
Yes.
I've known Dave for many, many years, and how I got to know him was the very first cohort that we ever put together for AASA. It was around personalized learning. Oh, I want to say it was 2005 2014 maybe or
Mhm.
something. It's
Mhm.
been a while ago, and he was just such an innovative leader then to be, signing up to be part of the personalized learning cohort and starting to learn about that. And I think all of that work got all of us a little bit ready for the pandemic so that we
It
could
sure did.
flip the switch
Yeah.
and be ready to start thinking about personalized learning and online learning. The other thing that happened with me during COVID is joining the Cook Center and becoming the leader over here and focusing on mental health. And I know you've always been a big proponent of mental health, and we've had the honor to be able to support Freeman School District. But talk to
Yes.
us a little bit about mental health and what you're seeing, but also what your hopes for the future are.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we love the Cook Center. And, for a district our size, we have all of the same needs around mental health that a school district 10 times our size has.
Right.
It's all relative. But some of the resources and that are available at a bigger school district may not be available, at a place like Freeman. So when we partnered up with the Cook Center, and thanks to our good friend Tobin Novasio from Hardin, Montana, we were able to learn more about the Cook Center and provide support and resources, not just for kids here and staff, but also for our parents.
Right.
And being able to offer that in a small rural setting has been incredibly important, especially on the heels of a school shooting,
Yeah.
right? COVID, things like a community fire. Um, I had never gone to a counselor, my school counselor ever, or any kind of counselor. And I know for myself, having gone through some of these things in Freeman, I've found my own need to go in for counseling to deal with my own mental health
Yeah.
and be able to figure out my own journey, kind of navigating that. And it's really helped, I think, Ann, with me kind of going through my own understanding of mental health supports for kids and adults and the importance of it, and also battling through some of the stigma. And not that it should be more important, and it's not really to anybody else, but when the superintendent can get up there and say, hey, I've been to a counselor to work through tough stuff. I've had some issues that have sent me to the emergency room with panic attacks. I've had to work through, not being able to catch my breath and, having crazy thoughts in my head at 2 o'clock in the morning. And knowing that, through faith and family and support, you can work through these things. You don't have to do it by yourself. I think that sends an important message, and it also lets people know I'm just a real human being. I mean, you may see me as the superintendent, but I deal with the same things that everybody else deals with, and you know, life is a team sport, and it's a team sport, and you're meant to work on a team to be able to get through life. And if you try to do it by yourself, it's incredibly challenging and difficult. And if you can do it with support and help, it's just so much easier to do that. And so leaning into these mental health supports, having a mental health counselor. So we have a full-time mental health counselor on Freeman's campus for 850 kids. We have our school counselors,
Great though. Yeah.
right, for K-8 and for 9-12, and then we have a full-time mental health counselor. And as I talk to our mental health counselor, I am continuously impressed about the level and the depth of conversation that our kids are involved in. I'm unbelievably taken aback by some of the difficulties that they have to work through. And I am so thankful that we have those resources available for our kids and now having that for our parents and our staff. I'll give you a perfect example. The Cook Center helped us to be able to help a family navigate the insurance side of being able to access resources for their kid when they had kind of hit a roadblock between what the school could do to support the family and what the family needed beyond the school. And the Cook Center was there to help us with that. That's something I know we wouldn't have been able to do on our own. So I am just forever thankful for these incredible mental health resources and huge proponent of that, not just for myself, our family, but anybody that I can talk to that will listen.
Well, I agree, and I'm a little bit in the same boat. I hadn't really ever gone to a counselor or done that until I went through a divorce, and now I'm a huge proponent of therapy and counseling and all of that. But I also know that it's not accessible, especially in a place like Freeman where you're far away from things. It's not available because you can't get appointments. It's
Yep.
not affordable, and so the fact that Freeman makes this available to everyone, everyone in your district and helps them through it. And then of course, reducing the stigma. So I think it is important when you get up and say, you know what, I've needed this too. There's times I've needed help and support, and it's okay to need and ask for help. And when it comes from a leader, I think that just makes the biggest difference ever. And then the other thing I think really makes a difference is when you send out every month the calendar of mental health topics that are going to be covered. And then people are like, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one dealing with a child with anxiety or dealing with a child who's self-harming or something. They realize that others are having those same needs, so they don't feel so alone in the world. So
Absolutely. And I feel like maybe sometimes, Anne, that loneliness is self-protection, where people may feel a little embarrassed or like, hey, I should be able to handle this. Why can't I handle this? I'm 45 years old and I can't believe my kid's acting this way, or why is this affecting me this way? And really what we find is that when you can move away from knowing that you're not by yourself, that other people are dealing with some of the same things that you're dealing with, it actually becomes a support instead of me trying to protect myself because maybe I'm a little bit embarrassed. I know I was a little embarrassed at first when had to go to a counselor, but I couldn't sleep
yeah,
after the shooting.
I bet. Yeah.
Like I could not sleep. And so it's tough to work an 18-hour day as a superintendent and then not be able to sleep.
Yeah. Not be able to get refreshed for the next day. Yeah.
Exactly. And so being able to just say it out loud actually started with the self-acceptance and the, you know what, hey, I'm not dealing with this by myself.
Yeah. And then having a place and knowing where to go and get the help, that just makes such a huge difference. So,
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, it's because of people like you, Ann, who advocate and support schools, superintendents, principals, leaders, right? Then we can also carry that message. And you've been able to, with the Cook Center and AASA and others, be able to provide those supports for us so we can do the right thing for kids and for the parents and the staff. So
well,
thank you.
well, thank you for that compliment. I will take it heartily, and thank you.
Yeah.
I also just want to tell you how extraordinary it is that you have a mental health counselor on staff, because the national statistic is that there's one counselor for every 500 students. But when they're talking about that one counselor, they're talking about the counselor that does all the things that counselors do, which is a
Right.
lot more than mental health.
Right.
That, it's school, well, you can tell me more than anybody, but it's scheduling and college planning and
Yes.
so many things that, mental health when you do that statistic of one school counselor to 500 students, probably this much of those regular counselors' day is around mental health, right? It's
Yep.
not this much. It's not this much. It's like this much, and then everything else. So to have a person who is dedicated to the mental health of 850 students, that is extraordinary.
Well, thank you. It's a priority, for us, Anne. It may have started a little bit with it being a necessity at the beginning, and then it definitely moved quickly into a priority. And I love that we've been able to keep that a priority. And now you're seeing the results
Yeah.
of that and how much of an impact it's made, right, for our kids. And I mean, we're seeing less, referrals. We're seeing less emotional difficulties to deal with. We're dealing with less behaviors in the classroom, more family engagement, more community engagement. And then that's where a student feels like, hey, I've got a support system
Mhm.
in place. This isn't just my classroom teacher or my bus driver. I've got a whole team. And it goes back to life is a team sport.
Life
And
is a
when
team
kids,
sport. I love it.
yep, what,
I think that's our quote for your that
Well,
you put pull quote on, and I love life as a team sport because it needs to be, it should be.
it should be. Absolutely.
So I want to ask you a couple lightning round questions.
Yeah,
What would
absolutely.
you're a 15-year retiring superintendent. What are you going to tell a first year superintendent?
Ooh, I would share with them a couple of thoughts. Number one, no surprises unless it's somebody's birthday or they won a trip, Anne. Um, when you don't surprise your board, your leadership team, the union president, your head of maintenance and grounds, life is so much easier and so much better. So that's one thing I would share with the new superintendent. The other thing I would say is oftentimes as a teacher and a coach and a principal, it's about getting to the finish line the fastest. And being a superintendent, if you want to go fast, you can do that. You can go by yourself. But if you really want to take a district far, you've got to go as a team. So you have to decide as the leader, do you want to go fast or do you want to go far? Because they're two completely different things. And hopefully being here for 15 years has meant that we wanted to go much further than we wanted to go faster.
I love
So I would share those two things with any new superintendent.
I love that. And as you were saying that, I just think about the journey of the Cook Center. When we first started, we needed to go fast, and there were only three of
Mhm.
us, right?
Yep.
But now we need to go far. We need to go across the country and spread that. And so now we have bigger teams around us. Um,
Exactly.
so I love that. Yeah. And then, what's something that most people don't know about you?
Hmm. Well, they probably don't know that I am an avid reader and that I love to be outside, like up in nature, in the woods, hiking. Glacier National Park in Montana, which is where I grew up, in our backyard is my favorite place in the whole world. And boy, if I had a good book or a good hike, and I am one of the happiest guys on the planet.
Oh, that's amazing. So, because Idaho is so narrow and you're in Spokane, you're not that far from Glacier, right? What,
Correct. Yeah. Can get there
hours?
in about 4.5 hours.
4 hours.
We'll be back in the Flathead Valley this weekend for a good family friend's wedding. And as soon as I get over the hill and I can look over Flathead Lake, my whole stress level drops and I'm just home. It just feels
Mm,
great.
I love that. Oh, what a beautiful place that is. And what's your proudest accomplishment during your time as a superintendent?
Oh, God, that's a
Doesn't have to be one, but
question.
could be a proud accomplishment.
You know, without a doubt, I would hope that people, when I'm gone and they were saying something about me, that they would say that they know that for me, relationships means everything to me. And that, when you know every kid by name in your school district and you know every staff member and about their families and you know the parents and the grandparents, that they'll say, he truly cared about me and he truly cared about Freeman and his actions, his words, his deeds followed that at all times. That's what I hope that people would say, because that's what I am most proud of, is that my relationships with the students, the staff, our parents and families have always been at the forefront. And I think that's why a big part why I've been able to stay for 15 years.
Well, Randy, that's an accomplishment to be really proud of. Seriously, relationships are everything.
They
I
are.
do a lot of work around leadership and happiness, and it comes down to faith, family,
Yep.
friends, and meaningful work. And it sounds like you have all of those in balance and abundance. So,
Oh, well,
um,
thank you.
is there anything you'd like to share with, or anything else you would like to share with us?
Yeah, well, I really appreciate, Anne, that you have this as a priority to be able to spread the word about great things that are happening. And as I share this out with our Freeman community and my friends and colleagues, I just want to say thank you. What a great opportunity to serve for 38 years and just very humbled and honored to have been able to do it in Freeman the last 15 years. And it's the single most important like pinnacle of my career has been being here as a superintendent, and it's very honoring. I'm very thankful for it.
Well, Freeman's been very fortunate to have you at their helm and being their strong leader, building their strong communities. So thank you for 38 years of service and 15 years to Freeman and all of that time, the thousands and thousands of kids that you have impacted and the other superintendents that you've impacted around the country through your ASA affiliation. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Ann. Thank you, my friend. Thanks for having me.